Trenton 365 with Zhakier Howard. Profiling the businesses, organizations, and people that make Trenton better.
Hello, friend, and welcome to the Trenton 365 show. I'm your host, Zhakier Howard. You're listening over WIMG 1300, New Jersey's oldest radio station, and you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at WIMG 1300. If you're watching, it's over WPHY, Channel 25, covering Mercer County, New Jersey through the Verizon Fios network. The Trenton 365 show has a Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter handle at Trenton 365. In the studio with me is Zhakier Seville, and Zhakier Seville is the executive director of Camp Hope, which is part of the Get Set Summer program, which is a 20-plus-year-old program based out of Westminster Presbyterian Church. So Zhakier, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
It is absolutely my pleasure. I met you probably about 6 months ago at a community event. During that time, we were talking about some of the ideas and things that you have for Trenton with a hyper focus on the children, which it was awesome to find out that you are the executive director of this summer program at Westminster Presbyterian Church. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You are absolutely welcome. So let's get started. And just for the folks who are in the listening and viewing audience, we're going to get into the meat and potatoes about the summer program, the dates, the costs, the location, some of the things that Zhakier and her team are putting together for this. But in the interim, we want to talk about a bit about Zhakier and what brought you to Trenton, New Jersey.
Well, I was born and raised here.
Awesome.
Yes, West Trenton. Sorry, keep saying I went to school. I went to Gregory School, and I lived on Hermitage and Stuyvesant for most of my life. And I moved away to Hamilton, so I went to Hamilton West and graduated from that high school. And I came back to Trenton. I live in downtown area.
In the downtown area.
Yeah.
Awesome. So as a young person, I know we were talking a little bit earlier, you haven't reached that threshold of 3 decades. We're not going to get into the meat and potatoes, but you're actively involved in sharing your life experiences and helping with education in children. Have you always been passionate about that?
I have, I think, mostly. I started nannying when I was about 14 years old, and I still do it today. I think being exposed to so many different environments, families, people's cultures, it's really inspiring.
Mm-hmm. So your diverse background as a nanny, working with different families and different ethnicities and different communities, you think that gives you a well-rounded approach to lead this summer camp?
I do, actually. Being exposed to all these different environments, I see the population disparities, and it weighs on my heart. But to be in collaboration with the youth of our city and the community leaders, it really inspires me to keep going and providing what it is that I can to service my community. What a privilege it is to work with so many people who have that mindset of community development and character, and there's so much potential, and we deserve it.
Yeah, I like the fact that you said we deserve it, because we truly do, right? But when you talk about potential, what is some of the potential that you see here in the children and in the youth that you come in contact with?
I see hope. I see a lot of hope. And I think something that I talk about a lot when I am collaborating with people and trying to describe my experiences and the experiences of children who struggle, or the experience with anything really, right? Within the community of Trenton and outside of Trenton, I think the common characteristic is hope. People are hoping, and they're hoping alone, and it's really hard to hope and faith alone and keep that faith going. And I think when I see these kids hoping, despite all the adversity and the lack of resources that I know are here, maybe that they may be unaware of, but I know it's there, and the adults in our community know it's here, it inspires me to offer them a hand and be my best self for them, be a role model, be a mentor, be a leader, and whatever that means, or whatever they need from me. that makes sense.
No, it does. And you touched on a couple of things, and I know we're going to get into it later, and that's the partnering and the collaboration. But I want to focus on the communication standpoint, because I think that was what came up during our first meeting. We were talking about how this information was available, and how are we going to get that information to masses of people. Sometimes folks in the community of Trenton and other post-industrial cities that are similar to Trenton, social media, access to a computer, access to the internet, those things aren't really readily accessible and available to a lot of people. So we were discussing, well, how do we get this word out? And I know you had mentioned that it was important to make sure that we use the schools to use that as an opportunity to distribute information. Well, during the summer, school's out. So now that's another resource that we have to distribute information, so we don't have that. So from your perspective, how are you addressing communication and getting as much information out to as many people as possible?
Well, when we first started building this camp, we thought we're going to serve these children, these very small children who are so young and just looking for things to do and in need of something to do over the summer. And what it turned into was a mentorship program for the older youth of our community, which are 13 and up. We found that, I guess on our journey, that they were not more in need, but more accessible and more ready and eager to learn and develop and create something new. I guess last week I was speaking to one of our junior leaders, and she said something in a group exercise that we were doing. She said something like, I just have to say something. You have no idea. My life is full of nothing. I look around and there's nothing. I see nothing. There's nothing to do. There's just so much nothingness in my life, and I'm so excited to finally have something to do. And that really resonated with me because I remember growing up and feeling and knowing that there was nothing to do, going home knowing that there was nothing to do, being told to go outside knowing that there was nothing to do. And how sad is that to hear a child to say that they have nothing to do and no one to talk to about it? That's it's sad, but it's important to acknowledge those feelings and then to say, well, what are we going to do about it, right? And to find out all of this information, we have to listen to those who are ready to speak to us. And she said it, and now we're holding ourselves accountable as the leadership of this program, Camp Hope. We're holding ourselves accountable to support, to help her and all of our little leaders to support and develop their leadership and their mentorship and get them the exposure that they need to attain those skills and create that lifestyle that they seek. They deserve it, right?
And I'm going to make another notation to that. So they deserve it, and I think that's something to constantly share with people, especially young people. Like, you deserve these opportunities and these privileges, and it's okay to feel as though you deserve it as well. Because I think back to my childhood, and it was, hey, go outside, do whatever you're going to do, play, just make sure you're home at a certain amount of time. And there was this bit of freedom. But with that freedom comes, came a lot of responsibility. And I see now that with the freedom, the technological freedom that a lot of young people have, I don't see so much of the responsibility. And being active in the community of Trenton and beyond, I'm seeing that this isn't just something that's happening here or to a particular group of people. This is something that is much larger. And the concern that I have is, well, how do we start addressing these things, and how do we start fixing them? Is it a matter of making sure that there's a certain amount of programming for everyone? Well, here in Trenton, we have lots of different programs that are available, but we still have young people and even adults who don't take part in these programs. So we understand, okay, communication is something that we need to address as well. Well, we realize that we can communicate during school. Okay, well, school's out. So how do we communicate now? And I think it makes sense to have someone in a strategic position like yourself as Executive Director of Camp Hope at Westminster Presbyterian Church via the Get Set after-school program, to have someone like you who's thinking, well, how do we fix these problems, as opposed to just kind of band-aiding the issue. I wanted to go off and talk about, do you see any gender-specific characteristics in the junior counselors or the 13-year-olds who are part of the mentorship program? The boys acting one way to the girls? What are you seeing?
So right now, among our junior leaders that have started, they are all girls. But I have done some interviewing with, so right, that's a problem, that we don't even have the boys, right? We don't have that demographic. But when I went to interview the kids from the One Stop, which is a program that is helping us pay for some of our staff, there were young men there, and that was nice to see. What are the differences? I try to ignore that part. I know that sounds crazy, like I just said, to ask the youth and help them name their issues and like talk about the problems, but I don't see gender, like I don't feel like it's my responsibility to give them a gender and gender roles.
Okay.
It's my responsibility to, like you said, provide them with skills instead of band-aiding them. And to name their gender roles is to kind of mask a serious issue, which is that I'm providing them with an identity. If they want to take on a role that is gender specific to their culture, then that is up to them. My job is just to provide them with support, with things that they want to do, whether they're a male or female. That's up to them.
Okay. All right. And let's stick with that and talk a bit more about some of your responsibility and your role as the executive director of Camp Hope.
My role, I guess, my goals and my personal goals and professional goals are to build upon my own leadership skills and mentorship skills. I feel like that's a crucial part of learning what a community needs, right? You have to be able to ask them, and to be able to ask them, you have to have that relationship to know how it is that you need to ask them, or what it is that you're looking for to ask, I guess. And so that, I think, has been my role, is to help create an atmosphere that is nurturing to their development, their character development, their personal development, their professional development. And what that means to me is to help them be more mindful and empathetic, and create their own boundaries and standards for life, for their life specifically, right? Support them in that development. And I think that answers your question.
No, you're good. You're doing a fantastic job. I have Zhakier Seville. She is the executive director of Camp Hope, which is an after-school program, part of the Get Set after-school program. It's a summer program at Westminster Presbyterian Church. Zhakier, can you share your contact information and how people can find out more about Camp Hope?
My name is Zhakier Seville. My phone number, if you need more information, is 609-643-2393. We also have flyers in Starbucks. We have flyers in the Big Easy. We've got flyers all around town. So go into any of the community centers or community participating businesses, and you'll see our flyers.
Fantastic. Zhakier Seville. She's in the studio for the rest of the first segment. You are listening and watching the Trenton 365 show, Civic Engagement Radio at its best. I'm Jacques Howard. We'll be back after a short break.
Every Friday night home game at Arm & Hammer Park are the perfect salute to New Jersey when your Thunder take the field as the Thunder Pork Roll. All fans can take advantage of $2 pork roll sandwiches throughout the game and see New Jersey's home team wear special uniforms and hats featuring the Thunder Pork Roll mascot, Slice. Special merchandise and tickets are on sale now. Find yours at TrentonThunder.com.
Need a truck to move? Let Justin's Rental of Selman's BP save the day. Justin's has the right trucks for all commercial and residential moves. Justin's has the moving supplies and boxes available. Justin's Rental at Selman's BP has everything you need for your move at affordable prices, featuring the best in pickup trucks, 10 and 15-foot box trucks and vans. Justin's Rental at Selman's BP is located at 2596 South Broad Street, across from the McDonald's in Hamilton. For your rental truck needs, call 609-888-3327. That's 609-888-3327. Justin's Rental at Selman's BP. If you are moving, we have the trucks to meet your moving needs.
And welcome back to the Trenton 365 show. You can send me an email, Trenton, like the city, the numbers 365, and the word show. Trenton365show at gmail.com. In the studio with me in the first half of this week's program is Zhakier Seville. She is the executive director of Camp Hope, which is a summer camp that is affiliated with the Get Set After School program that's also housed and started by Westminster Presbyterian Church. Shout out to the New Brunswick Presbytery. Westminster Presbyterian Church is part of that presbytery. Now, before the program started, Zhakier was sharing a bit about her background, that she is from Trenton. She went to high school at Hamilton West in Hamilton, New Jersey, moved back to the city of Trenton, and she is working to be she is the executive director of Camp Hope, this summer program that is affiliated with Get Set After School program. So Zhakier, just before the break, I would like, you shared your contact information. I'd like for you to share it one more time, and then I want to get into talking about some of the goody stuff, and I'm doing like all these kind of weird fingers in the air for those of you who'll be watching this on TV, about the camp, because I'm of that age where we didn't go to camp. Like, it was, hey, play with your cousins, play with your friends, whatever. You're not going to camp. So, when we had our child, Maddie, shout out to her who just turned 16, it was this whole thing, camp, and how much camps cost how much, and camps are where, and they're going to do all this fun stuff. So I kind of wish we had an adult camp for people 50 plus, so we could go and just hang out for a couple of days or whatever. But so Camp Hope, share the contact information, and then let's talk about all the cool stuff that's going to happen at Camp Hope this summer.
So my contact information, my phone number is 609-643-2393. My email address is my first name and last name initial, ZHAKIERS@gmail.com. I do have a Facebook. You can contact me on Facebook, and we are setting up a page for Camp Hope. And we have a lot of great things going on. Awesome.
So once that page is set up, why don't you send me that information? And folks, I'll make sure that that's on the Trenton 365 social media pages. So let's talk about Camp Hope. Give me an overarching idea of the camp, like in one sentence, and then let's talk about the particulars, such as the costs associated with it, the dates, etc.
An overarching goal?
Well, no, just a complete overall idea of the camp.
The idea is to support and develop our youth's leadership through mindfulness, empathy, and mentorship.
Bang! Say that again, because I think that's great.
Develop and support our youth's leadership through mindfulness, empathy, and mentorship.
Awesome. All right. So what are the dates?
So the dates, it started June 24th and it ends August 30th. So those families who don't have anything to do with their kids in the last 2 weeks that summer camps usually close, please send your kids to us. We have awesome programming.
All right, so when you say awesome programming, sell me on the idea. I've got a child who is looking for a summer camp. They're looking for some cool things to do, and we all can imagine, the thousands of dollars that people can spend on some of the big, expansive camps, like in the suburbs or in the country or something like that. What is so special about Camp Hope? Why should I send my child here?
Well, I know that what the adults want to hear is like we have academic and cultural enrichment, swimming, field trips, mindfulness and character development. We have community engagement and arts and crafts and performing arts. Lots of great ideas, but what does that mean to the kids, right? Yes. Well, kids do like to go swimming, so that's nice. But we also have dance. I went to school for theater originally before liberal arts. And I really enjoyed my time there, and I learned to dance and a lot about dance, and I enjoy still giving those classes. So that's a part of the camp, dancing. We have a wonderful art teacher who is in the midst of getting her bachelor's degree in fine arts, so she does that for us. We are also collaborating with the YMCA for the swimming classes, but then for the pool time, and then also for their R.E.A.C.H program and tennis and soccer.
So I want to jump in here. So we're going to talk about some of your partners, but it sounds like the YMCA, the Capital Area YMCA, is one of your key partners. And you mentioned the swim classes and the swim program. Talk about the particulars of that.
So it's not a swim program, I'm sorry. That's more like a field trip, like a day to relax. It's just their pool. So that's a pretty cool thing because we get a clean pool and we get a lifeguard. So that's that. And all the things that kids like to do in the water. But then there's also Teska Frisbee's program, which is the tennis and the soccer, the R.E.A.C.H and the STEAM program that we're collaborating with her to give to our children, which is STEAM is it's science, technology, engineering, I think arts and math. And R.E.A.C.H is the same program but for a younger age group. So STEAM is more, it's usually geared toward middle school and high school, and the R.E.A.C.H program is geared toward the younger group than that. And they provide us with the sports every day. So we go there. We actually go there Tuesday through Friday, or Tuesday through Thursdays, and then we do swim at the Y on Fridays. So they get swim every week except the days that we go on field trips, and we do have some awesome field trips planned to Philadelphia, to some museums, and we have some awesome field trips inside of Trenton. We're going to explore Trenton, explore our city, explore a great city, and teach the kids about its greatnesses and the partnerships that we have going on there.
Now, I want you to stick with the exploring Trenton, because I think sometimes folks have a tendency to think, oh, I've been there, I grew up there, I lived there, there's nothing new for me to see here. Why do you think it's important, or why do you feel it's important to share the town where these children are from, expose them to it?
Growing up in Trenton, I guess I had a little bit of a different experience than other people. My parents were very protective. I couldn't really leave the porch that much, let alone leave my block. My parents were very busy. I grew up in a single family home. My mom was single, and I was raised by my grandparents. So we never really had the opportunity to travel outside of the city or outside of the block. It was dangerous for kids to go traveling on our own, and the adults didn't have time to take us places. So I never got to know my city. And for a long time, I just wanted to leave. And I didn't even know what I was leaving to. Little did I know that right down the block there were amazing bookstores and programs for us to go to if we wanted the academic enrichment or cultural enrichment or enlightenment or any kind of support. So I think providing that in our camp is a great way to get our kids that exposure to enjoy their city and also become get involved with their community, be active participants in it. Civic duty, I think, is something that is very important to me, and I would like to build that in our kids' mindset. So the way to do that is to get them to enjoy it first, right? Figure out what it is to enjoy and how it is they can be a part of enjoying it. So we're going to go and volunteer for our community, do the cleanups, go to the bookstores, learn about the people who started them, and get books for them to read, right? So that's what it's about.
That's fantastic, and I'm glad that you've got this amazing social civic engagement component to not only your existence, but also to the work that you're doing. I think that oftentimes we miss those opportunities because we're so hyper-focused on, hey, I've got to get my degree, I've got my job, I'm trying to move up in my job. But at the same time, right in our own community, sometimes on our own blocks or even our next-door neighbors, there's an opportunity to develop a relationship, to share something that you have or expose them to something or learn something from someone else. And it's just really great that you're taking those steps to actually teach the children of Camp Hope, part of the Get Set after school program in Westminster Presbyterian Church. It's great that you're using this platform to get that information out. You also talked about some of the sports. Now, I know some children aren't sports inclined, and they may not be sports inclined for team sports. Not everyone's going to want to play basketball or baseball or soccer, like, the team sports. What do you have built into your program for the children who may not be so interested in sports?
So I think that it's really important to just get kids exposed to all that there is in the world, right? So regardless of if they take a particular interest in the sport or an activity, we're going to get them that exposure to get them at least the knowledge that it exists and let them decide if they enjoy it or not. A great part of the mentorship aspect is that our junior leaders and our senior leaders and our counselors, they all either, if they don't have interest right this second that they've been working on and building toward, then we're going to help them develop that interest so that as they're mentoring themselves, our youth, they get to be an active part of their growth and their experience and their engagement into the things that they love. So say, for instance, we find that a kid really loves a particular activity. They might have a mentor. We were one of the junior leaders who is coming to our camp, she works in the tennis program that we're doing. Okay. So if she has a mentee, she gets to be hands-on in their development. They get that special attention that they need, that they get to ask all the questions that they want to ask of that person because she's already specialized in it. She's got an interest. And now you're getting kind of a wholesome experience about it. Not only do you get the knowledge that you need and the skill set, but you also get to enjoy it because it's something that you're interested in and your partner is enjoying it too that you're working with. So that's how we're doing it.
Great. Let's transition to the costs associated with this, because I think it's important for people to not only know that, but also to the folks who are on the listening and viewing audience who may be so enamored or excited about the program and may not have a young person, but you may be willing to offer your time, talent, and treasures, maybe make a donation to the program, maybe offer up finances to pay for transportation or to offset some costs in someplace else. So what are some of the costs associated with the camp?
So all of our field trips are free. The only price that you pay is for the weekly programming, which is $145, and the registration fee is $35. We understand the dynamics of our community, and we do want to provide our families with more cost-effective programming. So not to say that we would take away something from a child, but to say that we would adjust the price for those in need. And a part of our program is a free breakfast, free lunch, free snack, free water, free field trips, free activities to do all day from 8 to 4:30. We do have before and after care upon request, but so far there hasn't been a need for it.
All right, so let me just read that back, folks. So for those of you who are in the listening and viewing audience, if you'd like for your young person to participate, the dates are, it started June 24th and it's going to August 4th. This is $145 for the week. This includes water, breakfast, lunch, and all of the trips. And this is from 8 to 4:30, Monday through Friday. There is an opportunity for before and after care if that's what you need. There's a registration fee of $35. So for initial costs, you got $180. We'll get the child set up for the week. $145 per week after that. Again, this includes field trips, swimming, educational component, leadership skills, mindfulness, empathy. Child's going to learn a bit about the city of Trenton. You're going to have some field trips there. They're going to be involved in community service programs. They're going to be with counselors that aren't a bunch of older, like myself, I'm tapping myself on the chest, like me, who are there teaching the kids. There'll be some junior counselors and senior counselors who will be able to probably have a bit more social capital with the young adults, the children, than some of us older folks. Can you share your contact information one more time, Zhakier, and then I've got one final request of you.
Alrighty, my contact information. My first name Zhakier, last name Seville, Seville. That's also my name on Facebook. My phone number is 609-643-2393, and my email address is zhakiers@gmail.com.
Awesome. Now, the final thing that I'd like for you to share is there's so much going on this time of the year. Children are getting out of school. Parents are trying to figure out what they're going to do with the children, and how do we offset vacations if we can take vacations, or the costs of summer camps and all these other things. For the children and the guardians and the parents who have not settled on a summer camp yet, what would you like to say to them?
I'd like to say, come here. Come here and enjoy all that character development that you want so badly for your children, but maybe sometimes don't have the energy or the patience or the time to put into them. We provide it all here at the camp. We're here for your kids. So don't struggle. Just come here, drop your kids off, and they'll get all the exposure, the development, the love, the nurture that they need, right?
That's fantastic. Zhakier Seville, thank you so much for your time. I'm going to have you back during the summer. Don't let the children wear you out too much. Is that okay?
All right, sounds good.
Awesome. Zhakier Seville is the executive director of Camp Hope, which is a summer camp that's going to take place at Westminster Presbyterian Church. It's affiliated with the Get Set After School program, and you can find out more by reaching out to her on social media, Zhakier Seville, Seville, or 609-643-2393. You've been listening and watching the Trenton 365 show, and we'll see you after a short break.
Sunday morning, my mama would wake us up and we'd be all in church on it. Never thought those days would ever make my life, till I heard the preacher say it's gonna be alright. Oh, get up on this train, y'all. Get up on this train. Gotta get up. Get up on this train, y'all. Get up on this train. Get up on this train, y'all. Get up on this train. I heard the preacher say, gonna be alright. I remember Penny Packer on the Sunday morning. Walking in my destiny was the morning sermon. Trying to understand my life and how I make it further, till I heard the preacher say, it's gonna be alright. Oh, get up on this train, y'all. Get up on this train. Get up on this train, y'all. Get up on this train. Get up on this train, y'all. Get up on this train. I heard the preacher say it's gonna be alright. Get up on this train. Y'all. Get up on this train. Get up on this train, y'all. Get up on this train. Get up on this train, y'all. Get up on this train. I heard the preacher say it's gonna be alright. Come on, go to church now. Come on, go to church now. It's gonna be alright. Gotta believe. Alright. Have a little faith. Alright. Can I get a witness? It's gonna be alright. He said in his word, alright, he'll never leave, alright, or forsake you. It's gonna be alright. Keep the faith. Alright. Trust his word. Alright. Like my mama used to. It's gonna be alright. It's gonna be alright. It's gotta be alright. It's gonna be, y'all. It's gonna be alright. Alright. Yes, I know. Whoa. It's gonna be
Trenton 365 show. Second segment of the program, I've got two authors in the house, and for those of you who know how I feel about reading, I believe it is one of those underutilized opportunities that a lot of people have. And we're going to talk about some different things. We're going to be all over the place with authors. We're going to be talking to R.E.A.C.H founder T.E. Williams, a.k.a. Trish Williams, and a new friend, Edna Roman, who is an author, and Trish has helped her out with her book. And side note, little wink wink, Trish is going to be helping me put together a book as well. So without any further ado, I'd like to introduce these two ladies. I'm going to give it to my first, Trish, who is I've known longer.
Yes.
Trish, introduce yourself briefly, and then Edna, I'd like for you to jump in and do the same.
Okay, hi, I'm Trish Williams, previously Trisha Ray of R.E.A.C.H.com. I have written 13 works of fiction about Trenton, but anybody in any metropolitan area can understand and relate to my books. I am currently editing for other people who want to establish books, and I brought Edna with me today. And Edna is the last client I edited for, and I'm very proud of her work, My Life with an Addict.
My Life with an Addict. And for those of you, you're going to see a copy of the book in a moment. But Edna, why don't you go back to yourself? I'm sorry.
Okay, I am Edna Roman. This is my debut book here, My Life with an Addict. But I'm also the founder and owner of a nonprofit organization, president of Encouraging Recovery. So the proceeds to this book, along with the play that I wrote, go specifically to fund my organization to benefit people who are suffering with the disease of addiction.
That's fantastic. I can see why the two of you have partnered up,
Yes.
so to speak. Trish
Right.
does have that tendency to always attract people who have a lot going on.
Right,
yes.
So it's nice that you two have connected. So, I'm going to bounce back and forth because Trish, you've been on the program several times here. So what was your first experience like? I'm writing your debut book, and I'm going to hold it up here, My Life with an Addict.
Correct.
All right,
My
there we
Life
go.
with an Addict. Actually, I was writing my play first, and as I wrote my play, I said, I'm going to write a book as soon as I finish writing my play. It was a healing for me. So I feel like I've been set free with that experience of living with someone who was suffering with the disease of addiction, and I did not know. He hit it really well.
Great.
And so I wrote about it.
Well, I appreciate you being candid, and I'm going to give a shout out to some folks I know who are in the listening and viewing audience. First of all, this addiction, whatever it is, the addiction, it's a disease, and it's a dis-ease, and it affects not only you as a human being, but it affects other human beings in your life. It
absolutely.
behooves us to start having these hard conversations and start seeking out help. There's plenty of help. We live in one of the wealthiest states in the country, one of the wealthiest counties in the nation, and regardless of what everyone thinks about Trenton, not everyone, whatever some people think about Trenton, there's a lot of opportunities and programs and wealth here that is accessible to most people. So it's a matter of us doing our part, seeking that information. If you have any questions, if you're looking for any answers, even if you don't have access to the internet, I encourage you to ask someone who can help you out with some of this. And Edna, I want to also give you kudos for being candid.
Thank you.
You're welcome, because I know putting your personal information out, regardless of what it is, is often very difficult, and it takes a certain kind of courage, like Trish just said, and a certain kind of a mentality. And I would assume that besides the courage that you have, the mentality is that you want to help someone else. You don't want someone else to go through the trials that you went through. So kudos to you for that. If it's okay with you, and folks normally come on the program and I have some time with them, we normally go over this before the show. So I'll go as deep as you want to go, or as surface as you want, and then later we can discuss more.
Okay.
But would you like to share a bit about your story and a bit about the book?
Sure, of course. So I'd like to say that when I was writing Inspired by Jeremy, it was inspired by Jeremy. My nephew passed away last year, April 2018, and he died of a drug overdose. And so I do this to honor him, because during the time that I was in the grieving process, I had to seek the Lord, and I just want to say that the Lord is at the forefront of everything that I do. Amen. I pray, and He brought me to where I am here today because I was in such grief. I didn't want to live that way. I wanted to honor Him. So I wrote the play. I started writing the play. When I started writing the play, I started feeling really, really good. I was so happy to be able to put His name in lights and have everyone speak His name, that I said, I want to write a book about what I went through. And I'm glad you brought up the subject about letting it all out and letting people know, because it freed me. I was very ashamed of what I went through, and it kind of made me shy, even out in public. I thought everyone could see through me and see what I went through. And I was carrying a lot of shame, and now I set myself free. I really did. And I want all women to feel empowered. Yes. I want all women to know that we all have a special little something, And God is the one who said, go ahead and write this. So, regardless of the stigma of addiction or domestic violence, regardless of that, there's something bigger than me, and God is leading me. And so when you listen to that voice, when you really sit down and you're still, which is what I did in my grieving process, I alienated myself. I locked myself in the house, and I only went to work and back home, and I only spoke to certain people, and I was in a little bubble, and I was kind of grieving. But then I started writing. I said, I'm going to honor Him. And I just kept writing. After I wrote the play, I wrote my book. And I am so blessed, and I thank God for that. I just thank God for feeling and knowing that I set myself free.
That's great.
Set myself free.
That's a testimony, and you just gave it publicly and for all the world to see. So thank you very much for doing that.
I'm
Congratulations.
honored to be able to do that.
I'm not gonna hold this flyer up because it won't reflect well.
Okay.
But I will say, folks, Encouraging Recovery, which is Edna Roman's nonprofit, is going to present a play inspired by Jeremy. It's going to take place Saturday, October 5th, 2019. Now I know that's quite a distance away, but just consider this a saved date. Or if you really want to get your tickets early in advance, $25, you can do that. You can call Edna directly, 609-808-1141, 609-808-1141. Don't make your decision based upon what I'm saying. Call Edna and have a conversation with her. Let her tell you how she feels. Maybe that'll stimulate something in you. Maybe there's some bilateral communication that can take place. So give her a call, 609-808-1141. And Encouraging Recovery is a nonprofit organization, and the website is encouragingrecovery.com. Those of you who can't write this down right now, I will make sure that it's up on the social media sites for Trenton 365. 1 second on that. We're up on a short break. I do want to say that I've got two authors in the studio with me right now. I've got Trish Williams, aka T.E. Williams of R.E.A.C.H, and also Edna Roman, a new friend who's just written her first book, My Life with an Addict. So we're going to be talking more about being authors, being local authors, and the process that Trish is even going to help me out with writing my book. You're listening and watching the Trenton 365 show. We'll be back after a short break.
Do you have chronic back pain, knee pain, or arthritis? If you have Medicare or private insurance like Aetna, United Healthcare, Humana, or Blue Cross, you may qualify for a safe, drug-free remedy for your everyday back and knee pain, but you must call now. You may be eligible for a pain-relieving back or knee brace at little or no cost to you. These pain relief braces are ideal for back pain, arthritis, sciatica, leg pain, knee pain, and other painful conditions that make life difficult. Our associates will work directly with Medicare or your insurance company for free. Your knee or back brace will be delivered directly to your door. Imagine playing with your grandkids or enjoying tennis or golf again. Call the National Knee and Back Brace Center to qualify for your Medicare or insurance-covered knee or back brace.
Call 800-416-0773. 800-416-0773. 1-800-416-0773.
And welcome back to the Trenton 365 Show. You can send me an email, Trenton, like the city, the numbers 365, and the word show. Trenton365show@gmail.com. This is an opportunity for you to make a suggestion, provide some encouragement, which I love. Haters, it's okay too. You guys have a perspective as well, so I kind of have to take that. But it also provides me an opportunity to share some of the other things that are happening in the region. I do a lot more than what you see here on Tuesday nights here at WIMG, besides promoting civic engagement throughout the region and trying to encourage others to be as actively involved in building their communities as possible. That's what it's all about. And that's why I bring to you wonderful people like the two that I have in the studio with me today. I've got two authors. I've got Trish, a.k.a. T.E. Williams, and R.E.A.C.H, and a new friend, Edna Roman, who wrote our first book, and I'm going to show that to you right now, My Life with an Addict. And for those of you, what's up over there, Tyler, my intern? For those of you who are just tuning in, Edna shared a bit about what brought her to this space of writing this book, and that it was freeing, that it was very empowering, that it was you feel as though God was completely in control of you writing this book. In addition to that, it started as a play that she's writing about a relative who died from drugs, and the name of the play is Inspired by Jeremy, and the showing is going to be at the New Jersey State Museum Auditorium on West State Street, Saturday, October 5th. Now, again, it's Saturday, October 5th, 2019. It's a decent ways away, but it's a simple opportunity for you to lock in. Get tickets early. It would be great if Edna could sell this out, and the money that's going to her nonprofit organization could count that money in the bank, and then she can just not even worry about it other than just doing a presentation. Tickets are $25. You can reach out to Edna directly. 609-808-1141, 609-808-1141, and the website is encouragingrecovery.com. Now, Edna, and also Trish, just before the break ended, you said you wanted to give a shout out to someone.
I do. I am collaborating with Stephanie Register on July 13th. Her company is Recovery is Essential, and she is presenting Let's Talk Recovery, where we will be discussing addiction, how it affects the community, and how we can combat addiction and how it affects a family. So we'll be discussing that July 13th at Westminster Church on Greenwood Avenue.
This sounds like this is turning into a Westminster hour. This was not planned.
It's not
Karen, you're a trip, but this is not planned. So
that's
obviously,
for Stephanie though.
Yeah,
that's for Stephanie.
Yeah, but I worship with Stephanie too. So yeah, I'm gonna get you guys on Sunday. I'm gonna get you.
Very nice.
So on July 13th, Recovery is Essential, led by Stephanie Register, is going to be having an event at Westminster Presbyterian Church. Folks, you're probably going to hear about this a lot more before then, but it'll be up on the social media sites as well. And thank you for sharing Stephanie. She's a good friend. I'm gonna get her because she didn't even tell. Well, she knows now. Now, Trish, I want to jump back over to you because you've been on the program. You've been on WIMG 6 times, I think you said.
Yeah.
But you've been on my program at least 3.
At least 3.
And it's always been a pleasure. And you're welcome. When I saw you just 2 weeks ago at the second day of summer, where you were vending very successfully, by the way.
Thank you.
And your setup is dope. You got a sweet setup. All the books.
It's functional.
Yeah. Yes. So I'm there. Let me have that flyer there. So I'm there talking to Trish, and I'm running my mouth saying hi to everybody and stuff like that. And then Trish hands me this flyer, and this isn't the one I was talking about.
Sorry.
Keep that one. So she hands me this flyer, and I'm like, that's new. And then on there's prices for these different services that Trish is now offering.
Yes.
So Trish will now edit, pull that book out of you, work with you on the production process and everything involved so that you can get your book done. Trish, when we think back to our first conversation, one of the concerns that I had was the process of writing a book. And you were like, Let me tell you.
I remember, Josh.
So I want you to share about the process of writing a book, and for the folks who are super apprehensive like I am, just talk about it a little bit.
Okay, well, it's always a pleasure to be here, and I thank you for the wonderful welcome.
You're welcome.
Edna, I celebrate you.
Thank you.
I really do. She had some hesitation at first, and what my job is to encourage you to pull it out. And, Edna told me, I'm on page 27. How is this going to be a book? And I started reminding her of her worth. And she started remembering it on her own. And I saw a total transformation a total transformation with this person who was, I don't know, to a full-blown, I got this. And not just with my encouragement, but like she said, divine connection. People will come out of the woodwork that God sends and puts in your face to give you the keys you need to get it done. Because this is January, February, we started discussing it, and she had the idea, and God planted the seed, but it's up to her to walk through the door and water it. So God sends you angels to help you water it.
Amen.
And now all her leaves are blooming, and I'm so excited for her. She is the 49th edition, the 49th book I've edited.
Oh, awesome.
And I'm so happy for her. By the way, I'm looking for number 50. I'm between work, and so right now I'm working on Side Effect, which is my own work, and that's about adultery. As you know, I conquer many of the issues we deal with in the urban areas. Very unique issues, bullying, suicide, drugs, gangs, gang recruitment, self-esteem. And these are the things that affect us. Not, you get affected across the board, but ours are very unique because we have to walk outside and see chalk outlines in front of our homes, and then we deal with poverty. We also deal with a lot of the urban and economic decline every single day. And I still live in Trenton. People ask me all the time when I'm vending, you live in Trenton? Absolutely. I have 2 sons that are 21, constantly recruited by gangs. But they're good boys, and I instilled in them their worth so that when they go out of the door, they take me with them. So basically what I'm trying to do is get people to say, you have a story, you have a journey. It's worth it to write it down. Don't worry about grammar, punctuation, and spelling. I got you on that. And I'm very inexpensive. And you touched on the fact that I offer other services. So in addition to editing, I have consultation, which is a lot cheaper, and I kind of nudge you, mother hen you, to get you to write your book. And I also offer proofreading, where you hand me a stack of papers and I take my red pen and I, just like a teacher, make corrections and hand it back to you. That's a little less expensive. And then also tutoring. But it's not tutoring so you can go to school. It's tutoring to prepare you to write your perfect manuscript, and then I help you pick the perfect cover. I'm extremely proud of Edna's cover, because we had gone through a couple of options with that cover.
I love my cover. And she gets all the creds, because she did pick that cover out.
It's perfect.
She did. I mean, it's a beautiful feather. And she
it reminds me of the lightness of
You
Edna.
did encourage me. I just need to say that. She encouraged me so much. I'm so grateful. And she also picked out my cover. It's beautiful.
It's ain't nothing but love up in here, man. It's all over love. I love
This is we need to encourage each other as women also.
Yes, we do.
There's this big thing where we could tell each other we're beautiful.
Yes.
Sis, you look beautiful. Yeah. She'll tell me, oh, I love what you're wearing, and encourage each other, and no hating. For what? We're all here. We should all help each other and encourage each other to be our very best. So that's the
so
energy that I
smile on
project.
her face. The smile on her face tells it all, and she has a very big heart, and she can't hide it. Yeah. She can't hide it. It's just like that smile.
I'm grateful to feel like I'm myself again, because for a while I didn't feel like I went through grieving, through a bad relationship, and I feel myself coming.
You're healed.
I feel like
she's healed.
Oh my God, I'm myself again.
Yeah,
that's how I feel.
That's good.
I feel free, and I'm so grateful to God to be where I am today inside of me.
I'm thankful for you.
That's great to hear that.
It's also awesome that we belong to, I think we discussed before, the Purple High Tops and Stilettos, the group I represent for domestic violence and avoidance of domestic violence and human trafficking. And Edna has joined. She's a big deal. She posts every day encouraging others, and not just to avoid what we've been through, but to prevent it. Like to prevent what we've been through, plus people who belong to the group are still in those relationships. And she's very instrumental in encouraging them every day. I'm very proud of that. Very proud of that.
That's great. I'm glad to hear that of both of you. And we need to do another show to focus on Purple High Tops and Heels.
Absolutely. 4 of my books are dedicated, as you know, to domestic violence, and The Hidden Treasures volumes 1, 2, and 3. All the proceeds are dedicated to preventing domestic violence, and they go to the shelters. And Purple High Tops and Stilettos is progressive in trying to prevent anyone who is going through this deadly disease, black, white, men, women, LGBTQ. It's very fruitful. It's very fruitful.
You know, as authors, to both of you, how do you grasp the power in the words that you're putting on paper? And I want you to think about that in a setting of, you don't know who's going to get your book. You don't know where it's going to end up.
Yeah.
You know, but and let me back that up. So just talk about how you kind of feel once this is done. I mean, because it is power.
It is power. I'll use Edna as an example. Like I said, in January, first of all, when I edit books, I work 16-hour days, and I can put a book out in a matter of a week. And then I edit, and as you know, my husband's who's not here, who's always here with us.
Oh, man. You might see him at the gym, though.
You might see him at the gym. He edits behind me. And then Josh and Josh, who are 21, they read the book too. And I watch for their reaction, and they tell me the truth. But in Edna's case, my husband read My Life with an Addict, and I hate to put this on the air, but he was so affected that there were tears in his eyes from what she had overcome. And then to see her now, he said, that is a beautiful spirit. So I'm very proud of that. And I know I always not answer the question, but this time I'm going to answer it. Edna's case, it affected me so profoundly that I read it again. Like, even after I edited, it was published, and she gave me a copy. I read it again, and I cried all over again. So that's the impact that this book will have. And I also edited the script, so inspired by Jeremy. And it makes you feel. You cannot read this script or come to the play or see them act and not feel. It will definitely affect you positively.
Awesome.
I'd like to say that play right there, inspired by Jeremy, the subjects that are covered are obviously domestic violence, substance abuse, teenage pregnancy, and faith, and a support network. That's all in the play. How important it is to have faith and God in your life, along with a support network.
Great. Now, unfortunately, here, I often run into this, and Trish knows. This just isn't enough time. It just isn't enough time. It just goes too fast.
And I'm grateful, so thank you for allowing us the platform.
I'm going to put this out there that I'm going to have both of you at the Library Boxes of Trenton podcast in July, which is the third Saturday of each month at Classics Books and Gifts. Edna, you were just there doing a book signing.
Yes.
For those of you who missed, you can come back in a couple of weeks over at Classics Books and Gifts for the Library Boxes of Trenton podcast, and I'll be there, and we'll have both of you on video there again. Is that good?
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
All right, fantastic.
Thank you.
You are so welcome. Folks, you've been listening and watching the Trenton 365 show, heard Tuesdays from approximately 7 to 8 p.m. here over WIMG 1300. You can follow Trenton 365 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram with the handle at Trenton 365. You can also follow WIMG 1300 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well with the handle at WIMG 1300. Most important thing about what I hope that you extract from any of the time that you hear my show is about civic engagement. all of us working together to build a better community for everyone. It's literally just that simple. We are all human beings. So I hope that when you see me out in public, you can bring me aside and give me some words of encouragement. And if you think I should be doing something a little different, I like that too. You've been listening and watching the Trenton 365 show, and we'll talk next week. Have a great night.